Adam had always dreamed of space exploration, but nothing could have prepared him for the strange world he found himself on. It was a planet unlike any he had seen before, bathed in purple skies with bright, unfamiliar stars twinkling overhead. The air was thick, almost alive, and the sounds of strange creatures echoed in the distance. Adam stood at the edge of a dense forest, the ground beneath his boots soft and wet as he looked up at the alien landscape. He was here on a mission to meet the mysterious species known as the Erythians, a race of aliens rumored to be as ancient as the stars themselves. It wasn't long before Adam noticed something unusual. Among the thick trees and vibrant plants, there was a presence, something watching him. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and he turned to face the direction where he felt the gaze. Standing there was an alien woman, unlike any he had ever seen before. Her skin was a soft, glowing shade of blue, and her long, silver hair shimmered in the light of the twin moons above. She stood still, almost as if waiting for him, her violet eyes locking onto his, with an intensity that made Adam feel as though she could see right through him. Who are you?" Adam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. He wasn't sure if the alien could understand him, but he couldn't stop himself from asking. The Erythians were known for their strange abilities, but he had never imagined something like this. To his surprise, the alien woman's lips parted, but it wasn't words that came out. Instead, her voice seemed to echo directly in Adam's mind, a soft whisper that sent chills down his spine. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice sweet yet powerful. "You are not like the others. You hear me, don't you?" Adam froze, his heart pounding. In his chest, he had read about telepathic species, but to experience it firsthand was something else entirely. The voice wasn't in his ears. It was inside his mind, like a thought that hadn't come from him. He nodded slowly, unable to speak. Lyra took a step forward, her eyes never leaving his. With each movement she made, it was as if the world around them became more still, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Adam couldn't tear his eyes away from her, mesmerized by the alien beauty and the strange pull she had on him. "You have questions, don't you, Adam?" Lyra continued, her words floating in his mind like soft drifting clouds. "Questions about us, about why you are here. But you also have curiosity, don't you? The kind that makes you want to know what I can do." Adam's breath caught in his throat. How did she know his name? He had barely spoken it to anyone since he arrived on the planet. But before he could question her, Lyra moved closer. She was so close now, just a few feet away, yet she made no sound as she approached, like a phantom in the night. Her presence was overwhelming, her energy palpable in the air around them. Suddenly Adam felt something he couldn't explain. Strange warmth spread through him, starting from his chest and radiating outward, making him feel both comforted and oddly vulnerable. At the same time, he felt as though she could see every hidden part of him, his deepest fears, his darkest thoughts. It was as though she was reading him like an open book. He had no way to stop it. "You are curious, but you are also afraid," Lyra whispered, her voice soft but clear. "You do not know what to expect, but you will. You will come to understand." Adam's mind raced. How could she know what he was feeling? Was it possible she could sense his emotions? He wasn't sure what was happening, but the pull he felt toward her was growing stronger with each passing second. Her gaze held him captive, and his body seemed to move on its own as she guided him to sit on a stone near a small, glowing pool. The world around them was silent. The only sound the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. Lyra knelt in front of him, her eyes never leaving his. "Do you understand what you feel?" she asked, her voice no longer just a whisper but a full thought, filling his entire being. Adam swallowed hard. He did understand in a way. There was something about her, something almost otherworldly that he couldn't explain. She wasn't just an alien. She was a presence, a force of nature that seemed to bend the world around her. And as she spoke, he felt as if something inside him was awakening. The connection between them was undeniable, and though he didn't fully understand it, he couldn't pull away. I don't understand," Adam said aloud, his voice shaky. "What are you trying to tell me?" Lyra smiled, though there was no humor in it. "You are not like the others, Adam. You can feel what I can do. I can speak to you without words and make you feel things that others cannot. And in time, you will learn to understand me in ways no one else ever could." Adam's mind was spinning. There was so much he didn't know, so much about Lyra and her people that he couldn't begin to comprehend. But one thing was clear. His life would never be the same after this moment. He was on the edge of something extraordinary, something that no human had ever experienced. As the night grew darker and the stars above them seemed to grow brighter, Adam couldn't help but feel like he was standing at the beginning of a journey he could never turn back from. It was a journey that Lyra, the beautiful and mysterious alien, would guide him on. The next morning, Adam awoke to the soft sound of alien birds singing in the distance. I hadn't slept well, his mind racing with thoughts of the night before. The encounter with Lyra had been unlike anything he had ever experienced. He remembered the way her voice had echoed in his mind, her eyes so deep and mysterious, like they could see straight through him. Adam's thoughts were filled with her beauty, her power, and the strange pull she had on him. He stood up, stretching his limbs, and walked to the edge of the small clearing where he had spent the night. The planet was peaceful, yet there was an unsettling quietness about it. Everything felt different now, as if the world had shifted somehow, and it had. His encounter with Lyra had changed him, and Adam knew it. "Good morning, Adam," came. The soft voice in his mind was Lyra again, her words flowing through his thoughts as naturally as if she were speaking aloud. He didn't even have to think about it. He just heard her, as if she were right next to him. He turned around quickly, looking for her. "Lyra," he asked, his voice uncertain. He hadn't expected to hear her so soon after waking up. "I'm here," she replied, and Adam felt her presence before he saw her. She was standing just behind him, her silver hair glowing in the soft light of the morning sun. She had moved so silently that he hadn't even heard her approach. Adam took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. "How do you do that?" asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "How can you speak to me without saying anything?" Lyra smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the calm beauty of the world around them. "It is how my kind communicates," she explained, her voice slipping effortlessly into his mind. "We do not need words, Adam. We speak through thoughts, through feelings. The mind is where everything begins." Adam tried to process this information. He'd heard of telepathic species, but experiencing it was something else entirely. It wasn't just her voice he could hear. It was like she was inside his head, her thoughts blending with his own. It was both overwhelming and comforting, and it made Adam feel vulnerable in a way he hadn't felt before. He turned to face her, curiosity burning in his eyes. "What do you mean, everything begins in the mind?" he asked. Lyra's expression grew thoughtful, and for a moment she seemed distant, as if lost in her own thoughts. "The mind is the key to everything. It controls our actions, our emotions, our world. We Erethians have learned to use it in ways that go beyond simple communication. We can influence things, Adam. We can shape reality itself." Adam's heart skipped a beat. He had heard rumors of alien species with advanced abilities, but this was something beyond what he had imagined. "You mean you can control things with your mind?" Lyra nodded, her eyes never leaving his. "Yes, but it is not as simple as it sounds. We can manipulate our environment, the objects around us, even other beings. But there are rules. There are consequences for using our powers." Adam felt a shiver run down his spine. He couldn't imagine what kind of consequences she was talking about. But there was something about her, something in the way she spoke. It made him believe she wasn't just talking about something theoretical. She had seen this power in action. As he stood there, trying to make sense of it all, Lyra moved closer. She reached out, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. Adam flinched slightly at the touch, but it wasn't uncomfortable. In fact, it was warm, reassuring. "You are afraid, Adam," Lyra whispered in his mind, her voice soft but clear. "Afraid of what I can do, afraid of what you might feel. But fear is only natural. It is how you respond to it that defines you." Adam swallowed hard, his mind racing. He was afraid, yes. But there was also something else, something that pulled him toward her, making him want to learn more, to understand the world she was showing him. He couldn't deny it. The connection he felt with Lyra was undeniable. You can feel it. Can't you? Lyra asked, her voice filled with understanding. The pull between us. It is not just your curiosity. It is your mind, Adam. Your mind is open, receptive. That's why I chose you. Adam's breath caught in his throat. Chosen? What did she mean by that? Before he could respond, Lyra continued. Your mind is unique among humans. It is strong, yet malleable. You can learn to do what I can do, if you allow yourself to. Adam's heart raced. Was she saying that he had the ability to control things with his mind? It seemed impossible, but Lyra's words felt real. She had shown him things, let him feel what she could do. He had touched a power that he didn't fully understand, but he wanted to. I don't know if I can do what you do, Adam said, his voice tinged with doubt. I'm just a human. That's where you are wrong, Adam, Lyra said, her voice gentle, yet firm. You are not just a human. You are something more. You have the potential to be even more. Adam stared at her, his mind reeling. He had never felt this way before. There was a part of him that wanted to reject it, to deny that he could ever be capable of such power. But there was another part of him, a deeper part, that was hungry. For the knowledge she offered, he wanted to know what it was like, to experience what she had shown him, even if it meant risking everything. As Lyra stepped back, giving him space, she smiled. The choice is yours, Adam. Embrace your potential, and I will guide you. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Adam didn't know what to say. He didn't know if he was ready for this, for whatever Lyra was offering. But deep down, he knew that this was only the beginning of something far greater than anything he could have imagined. The days following his conversation with Lyra passed in a blur. Adam couldn't stop thinking about her, about the strange and powerful connection that had formed between them. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her violet eyes, glowing softly. With the power she seemed to possess, her telepathic whispers echoed in his mind, sometimes soft and comforting, other times demanding and intense. He couldn't explain it, but he felt as though she was always there. Even when she wasn't physically present, the alien planet had a strange way of making Adam feel both at home and completely out of place. The land was beautiful, but alien. In every sense of the word, the plants, the animals, even the sky felt different here. But it was Lyra that had changed everything. She had shown him something he didn't understand, a world of power, control, and secrets that no human could ever imagine. And the more he learned from her, the more he felt himself drawn into her world. One evening, as the two of them sat by a glowing river, Lyra spoke again, her voice filling his mind like the soft hum of the planet itself. Do you wonder about my power, Adam? You wonder if it is real? I can show you, if you are ready. Adam swallowed hard. He had felt her power before, the way she could manipulate the world with a simple thought. He had watched in awe as she made the leaves of a tree sway without touching them, as if the wind itself obeyed her command. But even with all that he had seen, he wasn't sure he was ready for what she was offering. I don't know if I can handle it, Lyra, Adam said quietly. I've never done anything like this before. I'm just a human. Lyra turned her gaze to him, her violet eyes soft but intense. You are not just a human, Adam. You are capable of more than you. No, I can help you understand. I can guide you. Adam hesitated. He wanted to believe her, wanted to believe that he had some hidden power inside him. But deep down, he feared what would happen if he let himself go too far. He was already becoming too attached to her, too drawn to her power. He feared that if he accepted what she was offering, he would lose himself in it. But the temptation was strong, and a part of him couldn't resist. I'll try, Adam said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. But I need to know what it really means. What are the consequences of this power? Lyra smiled softly, but her expression was serious. There is always a price for power, Adam. My kind has learned to control it, but even we are not immune to the risks. It is not a power to be taken lightly. If you misuse it, if you let it control you, it could destroy you. but if you use it wisely, it can change the world. Adam nodded, feeling the weight of her words settle deep inside him. This wasn't just about learning something new. This was about stepping into a world where control wasn't just a matter of willpower. It was a matter of life and death. Lyra stood up and stepped closer to him. The air around them seemed to vibrate with energy, and Adam could feel the temperature rise as she reached out with her mind. "Close your eyes," she instructed. "Let go of everything you know. Trust me." Adam took a deep breath and obeyed. As his eyes closed, he felt a strange sense of calm wash over him. The noise of the world around him seemed to fade, and all that remained was Lyra's voice, gentle and reassuring in his mind. "Now, focus on your surroundings," she said softly. "Let your mind feel the world. Let it connect with the energy around you." Adam did as she asked. At first, he felt nothing. But then, as his mind quieted, he began to sense something. A pulse, a rhythm, like the heartbeat of the planet. Itself, it was faint at first, but then it grew stronger, pulsing through the air, through the ground, through everything. He could feel it in his bones, in his fingertips, in his very soul. "Good," Lyra whispered. "Now, open your mind. Let the power flow through you. Feel it, control it." Suddenly, Adam felt a surge of energy. It was like a rush of adrenaline, but more intense, more powerful. His hands began to tremble, his heart racing as the energy within him began to build. He could feel the world around him, not just the air or the ground, but the very essence of the planet, alive and pulsing with energy. He could feel it within himself, a force that was both terrifying and exhilarating. "Focus," Lyra urged, her voice steady and calm in his mind. "Don't let the power overwhelm you. Control it, shape it." Adam tried to focus, but the power was overwhelming. It was like holding onto a storm, trying to tame it. He felt his mind stretch and bend under the weight of it, the world around him warping and shifting. He could see things, feel things in ways he'd never had before. He could hear the whispers of the trees, the hum of the water, the very pulse of the planet. It was all connected, all part of something larger than himself. "You can do it," Lyra whispered, her voice like a beacon guiding him through the storm. "Feel it, control it." And then, with a burst of focus, Adam did it. The world around him shifted. He felt the power settle like a calm after the storm. The leaves on the trees stopped rustling, the river's flow slowed, and the air itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Adam opened his eyes, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He had done it.
Ow!
He had felt the power, and for a moment, he had controlled it. He felt different, stronger, as though something inside him had awoken. But there was also a part of him that felt afraid. This power, this ability to control the world around him, was not something to be taken lightly. It was more than just a gift. It was a responsibility. And Adam knew that he would have to be careful. Lyra stepped back, her eyes studying him with a knowing look. "You did well, Adam," she said softly. "But remember, this is just the beginning. There is much more to learn, much more at stake." Adam nodded, still processing what had just happened. He wasn't sure what lay ahead. But one thing was certain. His life would never be the same again. Adam sat quietly by the river, the moonlight casting soft shadows over the alien landscape. His mind was still buzzing from the experience he had just gone through. He had felt the power, controlled it for a moment. But now, a deeper question lingered in his mind. Was he ready for this? Could he handle the weight of the power Lyra had shown him? Lyra had been patient, guiding him through the steps, but Adam knew this was only the beginning. He wasn't sure what would happen next or what he would become, but he couldn't deny that something deep inside him had changed. He had tasted power, and once you tasted it, there was no going back. "You are quiet." "Adam," came Lyra's voice, smooth and calm, floating into his mind like a soft breeze. She was standing a few feet away, watching him closely. "Are you thinking about what we did?" Adam sighed and looked up at the stars. The night sky on this planet was unlike anything he had ever seen, full of strange constellations and swirling colors that painted the darkness. It was beautiful, but it also felt foreign, like a reminder that he was no longer just a human on Earth. He was here, on this strange planet, learning things he could never have imagined before. "I don't know what to think, Lyra," Adam admitted, his voice soft. "I've never felt anything like that before. The power. It's overwhelming." Lyra stepped closer, her presence calm and steady. "It is not just power, Adam. It is a connection. A bond between you and the world around you. The power flows through everything. You must learn to understand it, not just control it." Adam nodded slowly. It made sense in a way. But the more he thought about it, the more he realized just how much control he really didn't have. I had felt the rush, the power coursing through him, but that same power had frightened him. It was like a wild animal, untamed and ready to break free. "You're afraid," Lyra said, her voice gentle but knowing. "Fear is a natural part of the process, but it cannot control you. It will only hold you back." Adam clenched his fists, feeling the tension in his body. He was afraid, but it wasn't just fear. It was uncertainty, doubt. Could he really become what Lyra believed he could be? Could he control something as powerful as the force she had shown him? "I don't want to hurt anyone, Lyra," Adam said, his voice low. "What if I lose control? What if I do something terrible?" Lyra's eyes softened, and she reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. He could feel the warmth of her touch, even through his fear. "It is not the power. That is dangerous, Adam. It is how you choose to use it. You must learn to focus. Your mind is the key. If you let fear rule your thoughts, it will control you. You must trust yourself." Adam closed his eyes, trying to calm the storm in his mind. He wanted to trust himself, but the power felt too much. It wasn't just about moving things with his mind, it was deeper than that. It was about changing the very fabric of reality. That, he realized, was terrifying. "You are not the only one who has feared this power," Lyra continued, her voice soothing. "My people have struggled with it for centuries. We have learned to control it, but it is a constant battle. The power is always there, waiting. We must be vigilant, always." Adam opened his eyes and looked at her, his heart heavy with the weight of her words. He had always thought of power as something external, something that belonged to kings and rulers. But now he understood. Power was not just about control, it was about responsibility. It was about what you could do with it and what you chose not to do. Lyra stepped back, giving him space to think. "You are stronger than you realize, Adam. You have already taken the first step. Now you must learn to balance power and control, fear and trust. You cannot have one without the other." Adam stood up, his legs shaky, but his resolve growing stronger. The stars above him seemed to shine a little brighter as he took a deep breath. He wasn't sure if he was ready, but he knew one thing for certain. He had to try. "I'll do it," he said, his voice steady now. "I'll learn. But I need your help, Lyra. I need to understand this power, how to control it." Lyra smiled, a proud but gentle expression on her face. "I will teach you, Adam. But remember, the journey will not be easy. There will be times when you feel like giving up. There will be times when the power threatens to overwhelm you, but you must not falter. You must find the balance within yourself." Adam nodded, feeling a sense of determination settle in his chest. He didn't know what the future held or how far he would go with this power, but he was ready to take the next step. He had no choice. The path ahead was uncertain, but he couldn't turn back now. "Let us begin," Lyra said softly, her voice once again filling his mind. "Focus on your surroundings. Feel the energy around you. Let it flow through you." Adam closed his eyes, trying to clear his thoughts. The power was still there, waiting. He could feel it just beneath the surface. His body tensed as he reached for it, but this time he was determined to control it. He focused on the sound of the river, the rustling of the leaves in the wind, the beating of his own heart. Slowly, the energy began to rise, but this time Adam kept a firm grip on it. He could feel it moving within him, but he didn't let it take over. For the first time since this journey began, Adam felt in control. Not completely, but enough. He could feel the power, but it was no longer overwhelming. He was learning to balance it, to keep it in check. Lyra watched him quietly, her expression unreadable. You did well, Adam, but remember, this is just the beginning. There is still much to learn. Adam opened his eyes, sweat beading on his forehead, but he felt a sense of accomplishment. He wasn't perfect, and he knew there would be struggles ahead, but he had taken the first step. The first time since he had arrived on this alien planet, Adam felt a sense of hope. He was ready to face whatever came next. Adam woke up to the sound of soft wind brushing through the alien trees. The sky above was a deep blue, streaked with colors he had never seen on Earth. As he lay there, staring up at the strange horizon, the events of the past few days weighed heavily on his mind. He had felt the power, the ability to control things with his mind, and he had begun to learn how to handle it. But with each passing day, it became harder to ignore the growing sense of danger. The more he practiced, the more he realized just how much he didn't understand. He had made progress, yes, but the power still felt like a storm inside him, ready to break free at any moment. He wasn't sure if he was in control or if it was controlling him. The fear that had once held him back was slowly being replaced by something else, a growing need to explore the limits of this power. But with that came a deeper fear. What if he lost control? What if the power consumed him? As he sat up, he felt a presence beside him. Lyra stood there, her violet eyes watching him with a mixture of curiosity and concern. She had been teaching him, guiding him, but Adam could sense that there was something she hadn't told him, something she was holding back. You look troubled. Adam, Lyra said, her voice soft but filled with understanding. The power is not easy to bear, I know, but you must not let it consume you. Adam sighed and looked away, trying to clear his mind. I don't know if I'm ready for this, Lyra. Every time I feel the power, it's like it's pushing me, forcing me to do things. I'm afraid that one day I won't be able to stop. Lyra nodded slowly, her expression serious. You are not alone in this. Many of my people have struggled with the same fear. The power we possess is both a gift and a burden. It connects us to the world around us, but it also demands a great deal from us. It is easy to become lost in it. Adam looked at her, his heart heavy with the weight of her words. Then how do you keep it under control? How do you prevent it from taking over? Lyra hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. We learn to accept it, to live with it, not fight it. The more we resist, the more it controls us. You must let go of your fear, Adam. Fear is the greatest enemy of control. Adam shook his head. It's not that simple. I can't just let go of my fear. What if something goes wrong? If I hurt someone? Lyra's gaze softened, and she stepped closer. You must trust yourself. You have already shown that you can control the power, but you cannot do it alone. You must learn to trust me as well. Together, we can teach you to harness it. Adam looked into her eyes, feeling a pull in his chest. He wanted to trust her. But there was something inside him that made him hesitate. He wasn't sure if he could fully surrender to the power, to the connection they shared. It was too much, too overwhelming. I don't know if I can, Adam admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm not like you, Lyra. I'm human. I don't know how to handle this kind of power. Lyra smiled, her eyes warm but knowing. You are more than just human, Adam. I have seen it in you. You have the strength to do this, but you must learn to believe in yourself. The power is not something to fear, but something to understand. Adam sat in silence for a moment, thinking about everything Lyra had said. He had been so focused on the fear, on the danger, that he hadn't stopped to think about the potential, the good he could do with this power. The world he had come to know was vast and full of mysteries, and this power could be the key to unlocking them. But it was also a responsibility, a heavy one. There is more to this than just power, Adam, Lyra continued, her voice gentle. It is about understanding the world around you. The power you feel is not just a force. It is part of everything. You are connected to this world, to the people, to the very stars above you. Adam stood up, feeling the weight of her words, settled deep in his chest. He had always thought of himself as just a man, a small part of a much larger universe. But now he was beginning to see that he was connected to something much bigger, something that transcended his own understanding. "Do you ever wish you didn't have this power?" Adam asked suddenly, his voice raw with emotion. "Do you ever wish you could just be normal?" Lyra's eyes softened, and she stepped closer to him. "I have asked myself that question many times, Adam. The power is both a gift and a curse. It has allowed us to do things others can only dream of, but it has also cost us. We are not like other species. We cannot live without it." Adam looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. "Then what do I do, Lyra? How do I keep this from destroying me?" Lyra reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch warm and reassuring. "You learn, Adam. You learn to balance, to embrace the power without letting it control you. It will not be easy, but you are not alone. I will help you, and in time you will find your way." Adam nodded slowly, feeling a sense of peace settle over him. He wasn't sure what the future held, but he knew that he couldn't do it alone. He had to trust Lyra, trust himself. It was the only way forward, as the moon rose higher in the sky. Casting its soft light over the alien world, Adam felt the power inside him stronger now, but more controlled. It was still there, waiting, but for the first time, he felt like he could manage it. He wasn't afraid anymore. He would learn to use it, to understand it. And maybe, just maybe, he could do something good with it. Adam stood at the edge of the clearing, his heart racing. The night was still, the only sound the faint rustle of leaves in the wind. The stars above twinkled, their light casting a soft glow on the alien world around him. But despite the beauty, Adam's mind was a whirlwind. He had come so far, learned so much, but now he was faced with a choice he wasn't sure he was ready to make. Lyra stood beside him, her violet eyes focused on the horizon. "You've learned much, Adam," she said, her voice soft but filled with meaning. "You've felt the power, and you have seen what it can do. But now you must choose what to do with it." Adam turned to look at her. He had felt the power more than once now, had used it to shape the world around him. He had learned to control it, or so he thought. But the more he practiced, the more he realized just how much he still didn't understand. The power was vast, and it was growing within him, pushing him to use it in ways he hadn't expected. "I've been thinking about that," Adam said, his voice steady but unsure. "I've felt the power, Lyra. I know what it's capable of, but I'm not sure. I can control it, not completely. What if I do something terrible? What if I lose myself?" Lyra turned to face him, her expression serious but not unkind. "You fear that you will lose control, and that fear holds you back. But the real question is, Adam, what will you do with the power once you have it? Will you use it to help others? Will you fight to protect those who need it most? Or will you let fear control you?" Adam felt a knot form in his chest. It was true. He was afraid. Afraid of what might happen if he embraced the power fully. Afraid of what it might do to him. But deep down he knew that if he didn't face that fear, he would never truly understand the power that was growing within him. "I don't want to be like them," Adam said, his voice breaking slightly. "I don't want to be like the people who use power for their own gain, who use it to hurt others. But I can't deny it. I want to do something good with this. I just don't know how." Lyra's expression softened, and she placed a hand on his arm. "You're not like them, Adam. That is why you are here, why you were chosen. The power you hold is not a burden, but a tool. How you use it will define you. You have the choice to use it to heal, to protect, to bring peace." Adam looked into her eyes, feeling the weight of her words. "I'd always thought that power was something dangerous, something that corrupted. But now, standing here, he realized that it wasn't the power that was dangerous. It was how people chose to use it. And he had the chance to be different, to choose differently. "I want to make a difference," Adam said, his voice stronger now. "I want to use this power to help people, to make the world better. But I don't know if I'm strong enough to control it. I don't know if I can live up to what it needs me to be." Lyra smiled, a soft and encouraging smile that filled Adam with warmth. "You don't need to be perfect, Adam. You just need to try. You need to trust yourself. The power will always be with you, but it will be your choice how you wield it. Remember, it's not about being the strongest or the most powerful. It's about being true to yourself. Adam took a deep breath, looking at the world around him. The alien planet, with its strange beauty and mysteries, felt like home now. He had learned so much here, not just about the power, but about himself. He had come here thinking he was just a man, small and insignificant, but now he knew that. He was capable of more than he ever imagined, but there was still one thing that lingered in his mind. "What happens if I fail?" he asked softly, his voice filled with doubt. Lyra's expression grew more serious, but her voice was calm. "Failure is part of the journey, Adam. We all fail. It is how we rise from those failures that defines us. The true danger is not in failure, but in refusing to try." Adam nodded, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. The fear that had once held him back was still there, but it wasn't as strong as it had been. He realized that he didn't have to be perfect. He didn't have to have all the answers. He just had to try to do the best he could and learn along the way. The power was a tool, but how he used it was up to him. "Thank you, Lyra," Adam said, his voice filled with gratitude. "I think I'm ready now." Lyra nodded, her eyes filled with pride. "You are ready, Adam. You have already taken the hardest step. Now you must trust yourself and the path you have chosen." Adam stood tall, his heart no longer heavy with doubt. He was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to embrace the power he had been given, ready to use it to make a difference. As he turned to face the horizon, stars above him seemed brighter, the world around him more vivid. He didn't know what the future would bring, but he knew that with Lyra by his side, he was no longer alone in this journey. With a deep breath, Adam took the first step forward, his mind focused and his heart determined. The choice was his, and he would make it count.